Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Tyranny with me, Bring It On. So it turns out you can only do one project at the Forge at any given time. I thought maybe because the Commander's Plate only requires 5 recruits, I could find a project that only took 1 recruit and work on 2 at the same time. That's not the case, as you can see here with the Surefoot Scale Greaves. A little disappointed with that, but that's
I got
whatever.
it.
Also, I never sent this missive back to Meothis. Don't know how I didn't, but let's go ahead and send that. I was wondering why she never responded. It's because I never sent the response. Alright, to Sentinel Stand. This battered fortress is the historic home of stalwarts ruling families, the Regents. Protected by 2 massive walls, it was never taken during the conquest. Frustrated with the siege, Kyros issued an edict that severely damaged the castle and left it encased within a massive perpetual tornado. Alright, let's rock and roll. Sally forth to Sentinel Stand. Ambush. A journey is interrupted by the feral howls of a hunting pack of beastmen. The leader is an impressive specimen, her mane black as night, and her body scarred from battle. Oh, Kills in Shadow. Before you towers a massive creature of fur and flesh, her short black snout snuffling in the air.
Know this scent. Stench of blood, sweat, battle. Iron and death. Smells like alpha. Smells of strength. But is male.
The beast woman cocks her head to one side, eyes bright with curiosity, and red as fresh blood. Those eyes rove your body up and down, darkening with a sudden heat, with the look that a predator bestows its prey.
Have been stalking human centrail. Have ranged many more than 5 nights through tribe and human territories of Tyr's land, hunting for human called Fatebinder, for human who woke Horizon Rock called Mountain Spire. Have hunted hot high, cold low, wet dry, traipsed far until paws bled, but always human who smelled of alpha evaded beast woman. Had to slink through shadows, fast, quick, without rest to catch delicious prey at last.
Must not be a very good hunter then, because I've done a lot of back and forth traveling between like 2 locations. All she had to do is wait in the center and catch me, whatever. She tongues her blade sharp, discolored fangs, and exhales a pleased growl. Your markings. Must be from the Shadowhunter tribe.
Fatebinder knows tribes of beast women. Curious human. Male who smells of alpha and knows of Shadow Hunter tribe. Best tribe. Lost tribe of kills in shadow.
Her eyes penny with lust, the look of a wolf that's found a hare. I'm tempted to do number 4, but let's hold off on that for now. We have to show dominance over the beast folk, and that's what we'll do, but let's try talking first. Hey, I'm not looking for conflict. I merely want to continue on my way.
Beast woman did not range so far, chasing scent and tracks of Fatebinder, only to step aside and watch human leave beast woman behind.
She snarls.
Nope. Will not move from way.
Explain yourself, beast woman. What is it you want?
Humans.
She hacks. The beast woman's nostrils flare wide, and her eyes brighten with amusement.
No human called Fatebinder. Kyros breathes words on paper. Fatebinder binds words to earth and sky, makes ground tremble, makes night cry, blood and fire.
What would a beast woman know of Tunon's Fatebinders?
Human is not first Fatebinder. Kills in shadow has hunted.
She chuffs, darkly amused.
Tribes of Kyros fear Fatebinder. Human Alpha claimed Horizon Rock called Spire, and Archons did not kill Fatebinder. Archons rolled over and whined, covetous.
And? What's your point, beast woman?
Kyros hunts human realms to extinction. Rules tribe of blood and ruin, starvation and death. Seeks to slaughter beast women like prey. But beast women are not prey. Are not flighty, feeble-minded humans.
Kills in Shadow spits a gob of tawny mucus on the ground.
Beast women are savage hunters, bred to fight Kirut, like Fatebinder who smells of alpha. Strong always kill weak, then grow weak. Killed is migration of life. What kills in shadow is not weak now. Will not be weak for many long seasons. Will join Fatebinder and survive Kyros' tribe.
That's interesting. Okay. You'd side with the enemy to survive.
Enemy? No enemy. Only competition. Only strong tribes and weak tribes. Only win or die. Adapt to survive.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Alright, if you want to join me, it'll have to be as my beta.
Kills in Shadow is not beta. But even alphas submit to stronger-willed primas. Many packs make a tribe. Is this not a thought humans also understand? Beast Woman will follow Fatebinder. Will not dominate. Unless Fatebinder begins to smell weak.
She tongues one of her upper fangs, lips split in a feral grin. Fine, but keep your nose to yourself. This woman huffs and turns to address her pack.
Kills in Shadow will not shelter stone whelps anymore. Scamper and flee! Do not want to see shadows lurking, stalking behind. Barb cleft his leader now.
The pack hesitates, causing Kills in Shadow to emit a low, menacing growl.
Will not like if Kills in Shadow catches sight or scent of stone mongrels again.
Alright, we're not going to take her with us. We will talk to her at a later date. Alright, so we got the response from Eothas. Archon Donald. When did I become an Archon? Oh, it's interesting. I'm going to address you by such a title before it becomes fashionable to do. Oh, she explained it. Okay. I pride myself as a woman who stays ahead of the trends. Why Kyros smites some but allows others to exist is a question we all ponder. The Overlord can certainly appear arbitrary, and if I've learned anything, that's the point. Kyros is intentionally aloof and distant, both for matters of personal security, and because if you had to wrangle the most powerful entities of Tyranus, you need to keep them from getting too comfortable. To me, the most obvious answer is that Kyros knows exactly what you are doing. She probably approves of your actions, is likely working at every opportunity to create a situation wherein you're acting in your own self-interest, while satisfying her ambitions as well. You have to consider one important detail. There's nowhere left in Tyranus to conquer, now that the tiers are in the Overlord's grasp. What do the great generals even do in a time of peace? The voices in a rout is barely tolerable when you have need of a spy master. Why keep around such a monster when you no longer have need of such a gruesome weapon? I'd argue it is in Kyros' interest that the tiers be a costly invasion that claims the lives of as many of the Archons as possible. Not enough meat on the tiers to keep too many sharks sated very long. So this whole setting reminds me a lot of Warhammer 40,000. Belief fuels, or faith fuels, magic and power. Or, in 40k's situation, psyker abilities. Or the warp. The Emperor or Overlord is trying to wipe out his forces because they're no longer useful in a time of peace. Very Thunder Warriors-esque. There's a lot of parallels here. And I dig it. Alright, where did I leave off? Alright, Kyros ordered everyone to take Ascension Hall or die. The or die must have been an acceptable option, correct? If I had to hazard a guess, I'd say you have the unspoken backing of the Overlord. It's not like Blood and Mark can't find you whenever he wants. Eothas. I ask about the Archons and how they've risen to power. Dear Eothas, I appreciate the insight and am honored by your vote of confidence. You must have made mention of Graven Ash, and how you've known him since before he wore the title of Archon of War. Can you tell me more of what you observed of his rise to power? If I'm indeed an Archon, it's safe to say I wasn't born knowing what I can or can't do. And it stands to reason I might learn something from the stories of the other Archons. Donald. The great spikes of the Blade Grave provide cover for soldiers and beasts alike, making them perfect sites for ambushing unwary travelers.
They won't see me coming.
That is a way out. I'm not done exploring yet. Yeah, I'm noticing a lot of parallels between this and like Warhammer 40k, and I love Warhammer 40k, so I'm not going to complain. Like Kyros' whole conquering of Tyranny reminds me a lot of the unification wars on Terra prior to the Great Crusade.
I see that Kyros' wrath still tears at the great fortress of Sentinel Stand.
Well, so the edict's requirements have been met. It's going to continue to do so. So, good observation, Landry.
Sorry, I can't. Sorry, I can't.
Is there anything you can do?
Sorry,
Time to lighten my step.
Don't end up going too far this way. Let me circle back around. I don't accidentally trigger a cutscene or something without exploring the
Can't do that.
whole area. Verse is also really close to leveling up. Also, I'm like head and shoulders ahead of everybody else as far as experience goes. I mean, Lantry's kind of close.
I'll stay downwind of our enemies.
Alright. Not mean to lock him in place. Alright, let's boogie. Seeing the little icon on this chest even looks like the Imperial Kila from Warhammer 40k. So many similarities, man. No, I'm sure that's a coincidence. Rativek, or Radivek. The boat that once encircled Sentinel Stand has long since succumbed to the harsh environment. Staining water and patches of moist dirt are all that remain. Iron Greaves. Alright, we'll talk to him in just a moment.
Interesting.
Sentinel Stand Keep was once a proud, imposing structure. Now it stands in a mere shadow of its former glory.
Can't do that.
The scout strains as you approach, squinting through the harsh wind. Are you the support that Ash sent out? Yeah, I'm not here to support you, Worm. You're here to support me. Scout's posture goes rigid. Yes, sir. My apologies if I failed to pay the proper respect. If it happens again, I'll report myself to Ash for a flogging. Jeez, okay. We both heard that, right? Or we both just heard that, right? The disfavored never cease to amaze me with their fixations on pain and punishment. We're patrolling the outer walls, but there's no sign of the enemy. Either they know not to come here, or they're better at hiding than I credited. Darn rebels shift about like the winds they do. Have you run into any Unbroken recently? More than a fortnight ago, but she dashed off right quick before we could knock arrows. They're a cautious lot, but cunning. Not even Kyros could have expected them to use the storm to their advantage. Can we enter the fortress? And these winds? I wouldn't venture to try if you had 1,000 shields to guard me. Come and take a look and you'll understand.
Can't do that. Can't do that. Can't do that.
I mean, if I had to guess, that's a good place.
Sorry.
A good place to hide some goodies, but... Oh geez. The wind whips violently past, throwing bits of rock and metal past you along with the dust. Nothing has changed. This is the very storm that shattered the Unbroken and disfavored alike. Thank you for bringing me here, Fatebinder. Beric regards the wind wall and the massive tornado around the inner keep, which is but a distant outline. Straight as Hirudin, the last stalwart regent, cowers behind the walls of his castle. We won't be able to reach him through this storm. This place brings back unpleasant memories. I already know he was, but yeah. You were at Sentinel Stand during the war? Regrettably. The general's daughter and members of her cohort were captured in the second year of the war. By the third, we had tracked her to Sentinel Stand. We knew that the edict was coming, but thought it was worth the risks. battle dragged on longer than it should have. We got caught in the storm. He sighs, and a cascade of sand escapes his shoulder joints. That was the day I woke up encased in this be darned rust bucket, and why this place brings to mind unfinished business. Tell me about the regents. They were the bureaucrats and diplomats, all drunk on their own self-importance. Straightest Hero had never impressed me, but the people of Stalwart revered the man. Cowardice must run in the regent bloodline. When the edict struck, Straightest hid in his castle and watched his country fall to pieces. An honorable man would have died for his people. The storm didn't leave much behind. A year of brutal weather will do that. Kyros' Edict of Storms devastated the once mighty realm of Stalwart, all but wiping it from the map. There isn't much left of the old country, save for the unbroken and their stubborn pride. I'm only interested in one thing, how we get inside. Couldn't say. The powers fighting over this realm must have some notion, otherwise they wouldn't squabble for control over this blasted wasteland. We should track down someone with answers. Do you hear that? Barrett cups his gauntleted hand to his ear. You catch an odd sound on the wind, a low moan hidden within a cacophony of swirling dirt and metal debris. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over the moan. The clouds of dust seem to close in upon you. Within them, you see patches of glowing red. So are these the Bane? Kinda wish I would have brought Ebb with me in that case, right? Scourge and Wisp. Alright, guess we're gonna fight some Bane. Don't know what they're doing here, because we're not in the old walls, are we?
Consider it done.
Alright, let's see. Let's get this buff on everybody. While everybody else is buffing. Go ahead and just drop all of our buffs because we can.
I'm on it.
Nope, meant to grab Lantry. Here we go. And...
Consider it done.
oh no, he's frightened. Shoot. So my character's immune to frightened at least. Alright, cool. That didn't last very long. Let's hit them with that. In fact, I'm going to go over here and use... I need to interrupt his ability real fast. So I get my cleave off first, then he can fear everybody. If he wants to. Let's get some more buffs on Lantry real fast, just to keep him alive in case they decide to change targets.
Let's have it.
Alright, and let's see here. Let's get Refuse Pain going just to make sure no one stays frightened if they do become frightened.
You got it.
That one
Alright, let's get some healing real fast.
be hard.
You won't enjoy this as much as I do.
Sunder him, and then thrust. I should have thrusted first. The accuracy bonus, but it's not a big deal. And actually, let's do this combo ability. Should have hasted verse, I think. Maybe some combo abilities. Why not? I don't use them very often because I never think about it. But they're probably worth using. Try and get some healing on these guys, and let's thrust.
On your knees, worm.
Let's hit him with some magic if we can. She's not leveling up. I'm not a huge fan of that. I could pull everybody else back and just have her fight in hopes that she gains enough experience to level
I'm
up.
on it.
Oh, Lantry's not doing anything. That's fine. The Bane are gone, their natural cries silenced, leaving only the tornado's violence in your ears. As the dust clouds recede, you spot a crouched figure on the wall above.
Is my vision poor, or do I spy a figure atop the wall?
Can we heal him? Nope. Alright, the well's gotta have something hidden in it, right?
Slow and steady.
No, this isn't Dragon Quest. Janos, or Janos. The soldier kneels behind the ruined parapets. You can tell by his raiment, old stalwart gear, that he's an unbroken soldier. He peers at you with a mixture of caution and curiosity. You handle the Bane well enough, but what brings you to this forsaken place? He pauses as recognition dawns in his eyes. You look like the typical rank and file of Kyros' army, but you're no son of stalwart either. He squints at your raiment and takes your measure. No, you're the Fatebinder who broke past the Avengering Guard. I think you'll find yonder wind wall a tougher nut to crack than the Apex Citadel. He chuckles. I guess I'm kind of here for both, right? I do want to end the Edict. I'm here to end the Edict of Storms. Is that how it works? Kyros casts an edict and sends lackeys to do the cleanup effort. In that case, I'm glad we're so independent of you Imperial dogs. Enjoy it while it lasts. When the region is under our control, you'll be breaking your back digging mass graves. I'll be watching. I suggest you make like a storm and blow, because you're not getting inside this fortress. When you report back to your master, tell him that First Scout Janos sent you off with your tail tucked between your cheeks. Why did the Unbroken hate Stratus Hiriden? He's a spineless old man who hides behind his soldiers, and doesn't possess any of the values he hammers into others. Oh, sorry. I was talking about Graven Ash. Janos flashes you a crude sign with his fingers. Would that I had the strength to tear down this wall and kill him myself. Hiriden is a relic of the past, and we're looking to the future. We don't have any hope of squirming out from under Kyros' thumb, while the old regent enjoys his twilight years sipping dusty wine and hiding from the war. What can you tell me of the regents? You weren't even paying attention to the folks you killed during the war, were you? Janos shakes his head. The regents were our royal family. They governed Old Stalwart, protected our borders, and rallied our armies when in need. Kyros' butchers left but one regent standing, and he's as useless as a mustache on a mallet. Do you know anything about Graven Ash's daughter, Emilia? Sorry, I didn't catch that. I'm not too good with names, and your voice isn't carrying over the winds. He flashes you a wide, knowing grin. Impertinent scum. Climb over that wall and let me beat the truth out of you. What do you know about the Edict of Storms? I reckon not as much as you, Stormcaller. It's your fault that we're in this mess in the first place. The storm will continue for as long as Stratus Hiriden lives. I wager that we're both keen on stopping the old coward's heart, though I'll do everything in my power to make sure you never get any closer to Sentinel Stand than this. What if I... Oops, I'm a step closer. And another. Are you going to do something about it? Or just stare at me from your little nest up there? Your antics don't amuse me in the slightest, Scarlet Fury. Dance away if you must. You won't make it through the wind wall as I live and breathe. For a second there, I was worried that we would have to let you live, but you put that to rest. What are the Bane doing here? Following some scent of magic. At least that would be the safest assumption. I have a hypothesis that, when gathered in large enough numbers, they'll communicate through song, albeit one so shrill we can't hear it, and I think I'm boring even me, so I'll shut up now. Don't you know anything? The Bane are drawn to Kyros' magic like flies around a corpse. This whole region is polluted with the Overlord's reek. Nowhere more so than the wind wall before us. Mind yourself around their claws, Fatebinder. It's said that once the Bane have you in their clutches, they never let go. Yeah, Perseverance opened the Sunset Spire. It'll crack Stalwart's little wind wall. He straightens his posture and appraises you in silence. I can say this much. You buy into what you're preaching, and I have to respect that. Plenty of folks have tried to get into Sentinel Stand and failed, but none of them had a spire to call home. How can I get inside Sentinel Stand? Throwing yourself into the wind wall comes to mind. Take a few steps inside, see how long it takes for the wind to strip you down to a skeleton. I love to stay and chat, but it's high time that I reported on your presence to my superior officer. Be seeing you, Fatebinder, that you might not see me. He ducks behind the parapet and vanishes into the obscurity of the storm. Darn that vain southern wretch. Reactive spits. The Unbroken know the territory better than us, and take every opportunity to flaunt it. What's that scout even doing here? Look, there's a corpse on the wall. Might bear a closer look. I can't tell from here, but I think it's wearing disfavored colors. Alright, let's loot this stuff up here.
Stepping lightly. On the lookout.
A bronze dagger? Is that better than what she currently has equipped? Probably not. Oh, it is better. Better than Heart of Battle, anyway. And better than the other bronze dagger. It is straight better than both of them, so let's just replace that. Stone Shield Tower Shield, and Emilia's Battle Standard. This appears to be a scrap of the battle standard carried by Emilia, the daughter of the Archon of War. It was found at Sentinel Stand, confirming that she was within the castle when the Edict of Storms descended on Stalwart. The body has been here a long time. The storm has long since eroded skin from bones. Tucked away in one of the gauntlets, you find the scrap of a distinctive battle standard. That's the General's family crest. Emilia and her unit must have come through here. It seems a lifetime ago that we marched on Sentinel Stand. At least this proves we were on the right track. So close, too. The girl might still be alive out there. He looks to the wind wall with regret. Tell me about Emilia. She was always headstrong. Took after her father in that regard. She also demanded that the Legion treat her like an ordinary soldier whenever possible. Though in truth, she was far from ordinary. She's not an Archon like Ash, but she's vicious with a sword, and good with her troops. I sparred with her outside of the bastard city, and almost lost an ear for my troubles. And what makes you think she's alive? Ash's protection would keep her standing long after anyone else would have fallen. I don't like to think what she's endured in her imprisonment, but we can help put it behind her. Plus, if she died, Ash would sense that, so we know that she's alive because Ash knows that she's alive. The disfavored are hardy folk. A hammer to the skull, a sword to the gut, an arrow to the spine. We don't go down easily. We can march for days without cracking a yawn. Of little else I could guarantee, but I know this much. The daughter of Graven Ash can outlast any prison. So what are the next steps? Duskwatch Fort. Ash bade us to bring order to the region, but we need to learn as much about his daughter as possible. I heard tell of an unbroken fort called Duskwatch. One of our soldiers has been imprisoned there since around the time Emilia's unit went missing. I'll wager anything that if we shatter the unbroken defensive, we'll learn more about her whereabouts. Baruch is correct. They took Callias captive, supposedly one of the Stone Shields who traveled with Emilia. You ought to make contact with Osmios, the commander in charge of taking Duskwatch. I'm sure he'd appreciate the aid of a Fatebinder. You go on ahead. I need to double back and relay this to Ash. That should raise the old man's spirits, eh? Alright, is this shield better than what Barrett currently has equipped? More recovery, even though it's a higher quality. I feel like as the quality went up, the recovery time should go down. But whatever. Better defensive stats. I'll take it. And she did not level up in that fight. A little disappointed by that as well. Oh. Almost missed that.
I'll be your shadow.
Sorry, I can't. Sorry, I can't.
This whole area looks like there should be a hidden object there as well. There's a bridge on this side.
Sorry, I can't.
All the way back down here. Can I get up here?
Can't do that. Sorry, I can't.
I sure can't. Well, that's disappointing.
Sorry, I can't.
Can I... Well, there's like a whole half to this place that I just can't access. I feel like there's probably like a skill check or something that I missed. So let me check one more time for any skill checks.
Sorry, I can't.
If I had to guess, it'd be up here on the wall, maybe an athletics check to get down the side or something. I mean, I would have seen it.
Can't do that.
So. Like, so much of the map is just, not revealed, but yeah, you can't go over here. Alright. Let's skedaddle. We'll go towards Duskwatch then.
Can't do that.
Duskwatch Fort. Duskwatch is one of several forts hastily constructed by the Unbroken in response to Kyros' conquest of the Tiers. Due to its position near Stalwart's coasts, it escaped destruction from Kyros' magical storms. It is now one of the few remaining rebel outposts in Stalwart. Did I not... Alright, yeah, so we'll probably have another missive to read when we get there. Encountering the Blade Grave. Through the billowing dirt and rust kicked up by the Edict of Storms, you make out the shifting silhouettes of a small group ahead of you. Appearing lightly armed and armored, the group pulls 2 carts in their wake. They haven't noticed you through the maelstrom. They attempt subterfuge. Allow them to pass by without making your presence known. They continue past without noticing you, and fade into the wailing winds. Well, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to ambush them to make sure... Okay, well... Shoot. I didn't want to hide. I wanted to temporarily hide so I could spring on them so they didn't have the advantage if they were hostile. But that's... Darn it. Alright, let's read this missive, and then that'll be it for this episode. Donald, this is the sort of question that can get you killed. Very little is known about how Archons are born or come to power, and my long life has taught me that Kyros and the Archons prefer it this way. If the young and talented remain forever in the dark, the old and mighty can rule without challenge. I heard of Ash. He will always be merely Ash to me. Before Kyros renamed him, he gave his legion that backhanded title. As a rebel, a grimy, illiterate partisan, who was winning battles while his countrymen of the Northern Kingdom lost left and right. Ash was always a good leader, but he wasn't born able to mystically reach out and protect his soldiers. The earliest mention of it isn't even until the tail end of the Northern Conquest. If you read the journals, they don't tell stories of grievous harm warded off by Ash's stern looks. Instead, they talk of his soldiers finding their fears and doubts lifted from them by Ash's presence. A careful reading suggests the ability to actively protect physical harm came years later, as that bond grew, and more importantly, as its legend grew. That legend part is the key detail. In my understanding, an Archon's power is something of a self-fulfilling prophecy. The widespread perception of an Archon's power is the very thing that strengthens an Archon's power. So in Ash's case, he had some early inkling of a power, the ability to assuage the burdens of his men, and as he took on the mantle of power, and became known all around Tyranny as the next Archon of War, it soon became the ability to bear the physical burdens of his men, not just their fears and doubts. Thus my advice to you is to act like an Archon. Take power where you can find it. Foster fear. Foster love. Never walk through life anonymously, but rather live in the thoughts of your followers and the anxieties of your enemies. Meothis. I can't respond to that one. Okay. Cool beanie weenies. I'm going to call the episode here. In the next one, we will go talk to the... Who's in charge here? Osmios. And see about taking Duskwatch. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next episode.